Hello, hello, Rise and Thrivers. Welcome to Monday, May 20th. It is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and here is another episode of Rise and Thrive. So before we begin, let's just remind you who we are. Rise and Thrive together is a vibrant community out to educate and empower and equip you to have the results that you want now through real talk, real actions, and real results. It has been an incredible 3 weeks almost into May as we continue with the May challenge of the Random Acts of Kindness. And I'm excited to get right to it and have a conversation with my sister, Dr. Raquel Stuart. Hey, sis, how you doing?
Hey everyone, I almost just waved and didn't say anything. That would have been awkward. I'm doing well. I'm excited about this being our 20th day of doing this random acts of kindness. And what I've realized as we're doing this for another 11 days, so it doesn't just have to be about me doing for someone else, but it definitely can be about me doing for me. And every now and again, I think people need that reminder to do for themselves and put themselves first. I actually had a conversation today with someone who has reached the point where they're just done and over their job. And as soon as they made that declaration, all these different ideas started to flow through them, and it's creating possibilities for that
Mm.
person's life outside of their 9 to 5. So it's incredible just how when we release something, there's always something there, but we can't get that other thing for us until we let go of something, someone, or place. So I just found it really interesting. And I've also been looking at a lot of reels, which is something I don't typically do. Reels, on Facebook, reels. And they've been very inspirational. And one of them really did talk about letting go of something, some place, someone, in order for what you want to come into your life. So I'm interested in hearing what our viewers think about that, and also definitely, Reg, I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I love I'm looking forward to one day of I'm going to put this into action. I'm going to be looking at our episodes right from the beginning until now. It is amazing how much energetically we coincide. Um, I got to reconnect with someone who I have not spoken to in a really long time today. I met her from an event over a year ago. Um, and something, you know how I get this. I get this download. God kind of taps in my heart and says, give her a call. And we had a scheduled call today. And I got to find out what was happening in her life. And she got very sick in the past year. And she lost her mom in this past year. And as we were having, and the conversation lasted exactly an hour, I think it was like 59 minutes and like something seconds. It was like having our own show. That's exactly what she concluded inside of that conversation, because in the beginning it was a catch up and it was very heavy, right? She was kind of like spilling out everything that happened and was sort of going through these phases of things were happening to her, like to her, rather than we often say things happen for us. And I was just listening, really giving that active listening. And when she'd take a breath, I just didn't say anything. And she'd say, like what you just said, I'd love to know your thoughts. And I'd throw in there, like, it's really interesting. You feel like things are happening. You know, I know when those things, like you lose a parent, right? And then you get really, really sick. You might question all of these things. But can you see, now, because this is many, many months later, what's possible that happened for you? And she is very much into our type of work and our kind of conversation. And she said, absolutely. And she got into this great, the rest of the conversation was releasing the grief,
Mm,
the releasing of the grief. She didn't even realize when she got sick this time around, um, that it really was based on grief from her mom's death and a whole bunch of past stuff that she thought she released. And then the more her connection with her brother who came in to take care of her, and then a friend that came in for her. You want to talk about random acts of kindness? She's like, my brother lives in Germany. She's like, I'm single, I'm alone. He took 5 weeks off from work and came in and moved into her house and took care of her.
Wow.
So she released that conversation of what she didn't realize she was stuck in, which was, I feel so alone. I don't have anybody, right? And then when her mom passed, she's like, what am I going to do with my cats? What am I going to do with my house? She has an Airbnb. It's like she uses her house as an Airbnb. She has extra rooms where people do therapy in, like different types of massages and different types of things. And a neighbor who she's friends with, but it didn't dawn on her because of the overwhelming amount. And she's like, once that was all released, like it was like a breath, so much has opened up for her. So much is opened for herself personally. And in Florida here, guys, it's the season is over, so business kind of dies down. A lot of the, your main people come in from like snowbirds. And she's like, nothing's died down. Like business is flowing. So we have this long conversation about when you release something, it opens up for so much more. And she was so grateful for the community and for her brother and for people in her life that was just there for her and helped her release it. And then she got to do some of the work, like what we do. And so it's exactly the conversation for an hour today. And we have not spoken to each other, guys. So if you're watching this show, we do talk a lot, but Raquel and I have not chatted, over the weekend or anything. So this is an absolute beautiful, where I believe in energetically how things work out that way. So thanks for asking. And I'm definitely interested in what any of our listeners really feel about that. Like when you release a person, place, a thing, do you see what opens up for you? Can you see what opens up for you? What are some of those unexpected things?
Here's the thing, and I use this example when I'm either speaking with friends or with clients. And one of the things is, there oftentimes we think that we've released something until our actions and our words show totally different. It's in
Mm,
opposition to our belief that we've released something. So I use this analogy, and I want everyone to kind of see this in your head. So it's like someone asking you, a friend asking you for $5. You go in your purse or your pocket, wherever you have the $5, and you extend it out to them, right? They grab one end to take it from you as they're saying thank you, but you're still holding on to your end as they're trying to take the $5 that you want to give them, but you haven't released it
mm,
for that person to take it. That's how some people live their life. And they think they've let stuff go, but they're still holding on to it because it gives them a certain type of, there's some comfort in holding on to things, people, places that we know are no longer conducive to our well being. We can say it. This relationship just isn't working for me anymore. However, we're still holding on to the relationship. We're still very much engrossed and ingrained and meshed into a relationship that we just said is no longer working for us. For some of us, it may be a job. This job is no longer serving the person that we have become, but we stay there and complain daily about the politics, about the boss, about the workload, all of it. And it's like that $5 bill. We know we need to give it up, but we still hold on. And my question to you, sis, and to our audience is, why do we do that? Now, you may not be able to answer this why question right now. You may have to give it some thought. But my recommendation, give it the thought that it needs and that it deserves that attention. In order for you to either fully let it go, so that my example was that person can fully take the $5 because then you've released it, or what is it that you're getting out of holding on to this person, place, or thing that is no longer serving you?
Oh, pick me, pick me.
Yay. Fred.
This is so perfect, sis. So, wrapping this into the random acts of kindness, if you guys are part of the Facebook group, you might have already read this. If you're not, I'm going to share this to you all publicly. In part of the random acts of kindness that my husband and my daughter are completely enrolled in, right? They're part of the whole thing. Josh has been asking me, man, for as long as I've been living in our home here for probably, we're here 10 years, so probably for the past 8 years. I have this beautiful, I guess they're called china cabinets. You remember back in the day, like the china cabinets where like, you get the china
Mhm.
and you put all that stuff in. Well, that china cabinet was my mother's, and it's been my mother's for a very long time. And I changed it into kind of like this memorial, right? So very quickly, listen, I've lost my parents and my brothers. So each shelf has beautiful items in there. Like a beautiful dancer that my mom had bought. It's one of those Yadros that are like worth something. And, she knows I'm a dancer. When my brother passed away, I brought back a beautiful piece of glass art that he bought. So everything in there symbolizes something, right, for my family. And then I got a ton of crystal, a ton of crystal. My great grandmother's, these little teeny demi glasses with little teeny demi glasses and all this stuff that's in there. And he's been asking me for a really long time, like, do we really need this china cabinet? Do we really need all this stuff? And I wish Josh was here, like he'd be our guest today. Because to be honest, it's been a fight. It's been a fight. And because I won't let go. And he is beautiful. He's like, he'll breathe and he's like, okay. And he'll bring it up again 6 months later or let a year pass. And now we are really talking about rearranging our house inside of this decluttering. He really has clinged on to what we're doing. And I said, yes. And it was just before we got on here. I washed everything and things that I even said I was going to keep because this was my great grandmother's piece of crystal and I wanted it to put on the new shelf. Sis, I put over here to the let it go. And I realized when you're saying this, and for those people who really know me, I've been holding on to these things. I'm getting very emotional. Like if it was like if I let this go, this will take away the memory of my mother. This will take away the memory of my like they no longer exist. Like, just use this. Like this is them. But when you listen to me talk about it, I can tell you everything about it. So the memory is always there. The memory is always there. The item. Now there are a couple of things, and Josh is like, "Hey, we don't get rid of." There are certain beautiful things that we both agree on the shelf, including him and his life. But a whole china cabinet, like a china cabinet, and a big china cabinet. Nothing against people who love china cabinets, but it's time to go, right? And we are building our life and building and
Did you hear that, Mom? It's
healing.
time to go. Sorry. Go ahead.
Time to go. So thank you for that. Because again, we didn't talk. The fact that you brought that up, that has been that back and forth, like that $5 bill, that curio cabinet and everything in there. I will wash something. And because, you clean stuff to make it look nice because it's in your house. If people come in, you see the dust. And I'll wash it and he'd be like, you said this is going, right? And I'm like, yep. And he's grabbing it and I'm like, no. And it's back in. And I'm getting hot because that's what happens. I still have that kind of emotional attachment. It's the emotional attachment. And it's all good. It's all good. And
Hmm.
with this great support of him, and even my daughter, because I'm training my daughter that way, Raquel. Her room is insane, insane. 7.5 years old but I realize it's not because she loves Barbies, but there are other things that tchotchkes, girl tchotchkes, that are like, and then she'll say to me, but mom, I got that from, and I'm like, wow, that's me. So Josh will talk to me like nothing wrong, but we have to talk facts. This is real talk, right? This is our show, Real Talk. You have wired her. And that was like a real hard one for me to deal with. And then I get mad because the room's full of stuff, right? Full of stuff. So this week is a really big weekend of like, Lexi, why are you holding on to this ripped napkin? Like napkin that she wrote on.
Because I
And
got it from.
yes. Whoo, girl, I'm getting so hot because people who know me, I wish Susan Schaefer was here. She knows me. That is the wiring. So I really appreciate this conversation so much. It's emotional. Like if it's like, I don't know, like if they're still here, but they're here and here. And I can tell you millions of stories about it. So yeah, it's big. This is huge, guys. And sis, I'm excited because we've got projects together and projects separately. So as this an emotional release, I was sharing with someone I'm looking forward to, the woman who I was sharing with you earlier about. I don't know what's next, but I know there is so much possibility. And I've got like this, like a whole bunch of like release. I feel like some weight, like literally physical weight, and some, emotional, definitely weight. And I'm excited to see as we go on our vacation, to see what's available and possible and these projects that have been stuck for a while, to see them flow. I really know they're going to kind of flow and manifest a lot faster than the track they've been on. So thanks again.
So that's really interesting and great. Mom, did you hear she's getting rid of her china cabinet? Just throwing that out there.
Sorry,
I'll get
Anita.
a call after the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get a call after the show. She probably wants to call me now, but she
She's
can't.
typing. Anita's writing.
Um,
Thanks, Regina.
here's the thing. There have been so many people that I've come across at different points and times in my life, and myself included at a certain time, where I felt like things I wanted to do weren't happening. They weren't happening in the time frame that in my head they should have been happening in. But here's the thing, and I've realized why. They weren't happening for me. Notice I said for me, because there was no space
Yeah.
for that task, that item, that to-do list, whatever it is that I wanted. There was no space in my life for it
Yep.
because I was holding on to so much stuff. And my question is, when do you have enough stuff that there's no space for you? There's no space for you to grow because you're so packed in there that you can't grow. So for those of you that want to make a change in the person that you are, it's time to sit down and start to declutter. You want to practice random acts of kindness? Don't let it be random. Let it be intentional
Yes.
kindness that you are expressing and giving to you. Because guess what? You deserve that kindness to release, set free, to create space. And I know this is going to sound real simplistic, but for me, when I purchase, and it's real talk, like Reg says all the time, when I purchase new underwear, that means I have to get rid of. So if I purchase two new underwear, I get rid of two new underwear because I've
Yep.
created space to just have maybe 12 underwear. So now if I keep the extra two that I just bought, that's 14. There's no space. So now everything is cluttered. Why do we thrive in clutter, or so we think? Why is this clutter? What does it mean to us? Why can't we just let it go to create that space for growth, create the space for possibilities? When are we going to allow ourselves to be kind and bring in what it is that we want? See, I've heard something really interesting. And some people have said, well, I can't let this thing go because I don't know if this other thing will really come.
Mm-hmm.
I can be a smartass, and I'm really trying to contain her today because I want you guys to hear this message. But you won't know if that thing will come if you don't let go of what's holding you down and holding you back. You purposely want to keep a noose around your neck. And I know probably not a great example. Don't send me any emails. However, you want to move, you want to grow, you want to change, and you want stuff to happen in your life. Make space. Make space. People talk about, and tell me your thoughts on this, sis, opportunity. And they're like, opportunity only comes around once. And I'm like, only once? You've lost your ever loving mind. Opportunity is always there, just standing by, waiting for you to notice it. But you're so clouded with all the stuff that you're holding on to that you can't even notice when an opportunity is right in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, I implore you to please start decluttering and letting go of the stuff that is not serving you, the stuff that is not allowing you to grow into the person that you need to become to move on to this next level of life. Whoever that person is, it's time to let go. It's time to practice intentional acts of kindness when it comes to you. Does
Woo!
that make sense?
I want like the big drop the mic, big round of applause, like Lexi would do when she listens. She listens sometimes. She's like, ah. No, that's. I mean, that's so spot on. I mean, like spot on. I love that again. We're so aligned. Josh is always like, I always say, I want some new clothes. So he's like, go get rid of some stuff in there because how are clothes gonna like be manifested in there because you can't shove in something else.
Where are they
And
gonna fit?
so every single time, right? Like I'm like, you save that pair of jeans, right? That pair of jeans that I'm like, I'm gonna wear this pair of jeans because they are as a size 4, and I was blah 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 blah, and la 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 la. Like, okay, maybe I'll be a size 4 again, and why can't I get another pair of jeans, right? Like, and like who I was, seriously, who I was 5 years ago when I was that size, like 5 years, is not who I am now.
Hmm.
And what would be available from me inside of who I get to see myself as and what's possible for somebody else. So every time I'm like, boom, 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 and I'm intentional of letting go and what it served me for, and I'm gratitude and I'm thankful. And I say, thank you. You served your purpose, you served your time, and may this now be moved on to somebody else, right? Whatever that may need that to be, because I am ready for something new. And guys, I'm declaring that in front of you. Like, I am ready, new, right? Like, cleaned up my hairstyle, right? This has been my hairstyle. To be honest, though, I'm ready for something new. And some possibilities have been brought to me. So get ready this summer. It's going to come, right? Because I opened up that space for that, right? It's that's what's there. The same thing with the style of the clothes. Like I go in every morning, like today, perfect example. I'm always like, what am I going to wear for the show? To be honest, I was like, you know who I am today? Me. Inspire chiropractic shirt. Boom. Went to my chiropractor. I'm comfortable. That's it. Little lip gloss, a little thing, and I think it puts some, eyelashes on. Like this is like probably the most downplayed, and I feel so amazing. Like I'm like, what is happening? Like like who am I? Like really, this is for me.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to see what's available. Like I look in there to see, girl, I got dresses. I'm like, really? Like who? What? Though this is what I'm gonna throw at you, sis. Has this ever happened to you? Because this is like the funny kind of part of the real talk. You get rid of that one style, that one thing, that da da da, and then all of a sudden, like 6 months later, that's the hottest style, and I'm like, I had that dress. I had those hearings. You get invited to that party and you're like, but inside of who I am, because I am community, I make one phone call and someone in my community has exactly what I need. So that's what I also want to say, guys. We might hold on because whatever, and I say that jokingly, but true, like this comes out or this comes out. If you're someone like me and you're ready to grow inside of community and how to really make a community that like what we are creating for you empowers and educates and equips and supports one another and we rise and thrive together, please continue to reach out to us because I can make one phone call. I'm telling you, I can go from a 1920s party to like anything you want. I can make one phone call and I can get everything I need in my size and my thing. I don't think I bought a Halloween costume. I don't think I've uh, bought a gown or anything in years because I have somebody. Like, why? Like, I get to like, they're so happy because they bought it and it sits there, and I get to like wear it and look amazing. And then, my girlfriend just left me 3 outfits and she's like, please pass them on because I had these
Hmm.
3 particular events. And I now kept one of them, but 2, I'm like, it was me for that event, but I really, and so I passed it on to somebody else. Super fun. So I'm getting lots of like exciting stuff from like a very personal, like you said, but all intentional. It's all intentional. The more you get connected to yourself and really start to see what you can release and to see what's possible. And it can be fun. It really can be
Hmm.
fun. It can be.
It really is important to be intentional with you, because if you're not intentional with you, then others won't be intentional with you. People are selfish. Let me just put that out there. People are selfish. They're going to want to hold on to you and not share you and your talents with the world. You have to be intentional in what it is that you want for your life, the growth that you want to see for yourself. Stop allowing people to hold you down and hold you back because you allow it. It's not them. I've heard tons of people say, oh, well, this person's holding me back. Unless that person's looking back at you in the mirror, it's you. Don't allow people to do that. Be intentional, clear space. Make that space. Be intentional about it for what it is that you really want to come in. Most of you, and if you don't know that I'm single and I've been on these dating apps, and my friends, my dear friends, love them, love them, love them with all my heart. They're like, well, you're busy. How are you going to make time for a relationship? And before I used to be like, well, I just would. And that answer sufficed for some of my friends. And for others, they're like, yeah, but how? And now I thought about it. And my response now is, if he is someone that is worthy of me creating space, I absolutely will. But if he's just somebody that wants to have fun and play games, I will not create the space for that. And I'm very intentional about that.
Yeah.
My time is extremely important to me, and I will not allow someone to waste it. So if there's someone out there and he is just what I need in my life, that space will be automatically created. But if it's someone who just wants to hang around and play games, there's no space for you. And I will intentionally not create space for that. But I don't want you guys to sit on the sidelines anymore. I want you to be intentional. I want you to be kind to yourselves. We want you to have everything that you desire. But in order to have that, you have to do something, and that is clear away the clutter, clear away the junk and the gunk that no longer serves you. Stop holding on. It really and truly is time to let it go. And there's no better time than in this season of this practicing random acts of kindness challenge that we're on. But if you miss it, doesn't mean that June 1st, dang, I didn't do it June 1st, and you still can't. Doesn't mean that at all. Be kind to yourself, right? Let
Yeah.
go, release it. the weight that will be lifted is there's nothing short of awesome at how light you feel when you are able to create space in your life.
Hmm.
Any
I
last
love
minute thought?
Yeah, I mean, one, the show went super fast. Two is, listen, it's been, scrolling across, like, come and join us. Here's the deal. Joining us at this point, like, means, are you willing to listen to what we are talking about? Are you willing to create that space? Are you willing to be kind to yourself? And if you need some inspiration and you need some support, feel free, join us. We have a private Facebook group, Rise and Thrive Together Community. You can look it up on Facebook. You can go to our website, www.riseandthrivetogether.com. Just fill out the little form, boom, and you're right in. And you can get some inspiration. But please, like, this is what we're out to say, to have you have the life you want now, right now. We're going into the 6th month, half of the year. So if there's something that's not working, guess what? Doesn't matter. There's only now. So let's make it happen now. So that's what I want to say. And that's it.
And next week, we're going to have a special guest to close out um, the month of May, which is dedicated to mental health awareness. So, we're going to have a special guest come on. We're going to chat it up about mental health and what that means and stigmas associated and how to get help. All right. So, this was awesome. Thank you all so much for joining us. And remember, together we can rise and thrive. Till next time.